Everybody, it's Doug, the point of sale data guy from Crunchbox. I am here with our first of many COPA and CHPTA partnership point of sale data minute podcast. I'm excited to be affiliated with these two organizations where Crunchbox, who's sponsoring our podcast and live stream today, has been a valued partner of these associations and working with some of the members at really helping them understand what's happening at their retailers across the country by store, by product, and delivering these insights and valuable details through our Crunchbox BI tool. So to kick off our session and episode number 1 of our partnership podcast, I have invited the president of COPA and the CHPTA, Sam Moncada.
Hey, Doug, good morning.
Good morning, Sam. Thanks for joining me today. The crowd goes wild. I appreciate your time and look forward to a first of many of these podcasts and live streams that we can take to your members and those who should be members.
Thanks, Doug. Really appreciate it. What a great welcome. I don't get that welcome when I arrive at home at night, so I'm thankful for that. Thank you.
You know, when we got together for this, we thought we'd talk about retail trends and kind of what we saw in the first half of the year and what membership was saying about the second half of the year. And then at the back half of this, after kind of 5 or 10 minutes digging into that a little bit, we're going to pivot into what your plans are for your members for the back half of the year, some of the new programs you have in place, and just generally chat about what members and those who should be members can expect to see and the valued programs that you deliver. So I'm looking forward to the next kind of 20 minutes together as we get into it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Look forward to having this conversation, Doug, and hopefully we'll be able to make it worth your while to listen to me for 20 minutes.
Of course. You always got lots of great things to say. I think we could kick off. I posted one of the posts yesterday. It's up to like 1,500 views. So everyone's clearly interested from your hardware members in your association. And we should say, for those who don't know, the CHPTA is the Canadian Home Products Trade Association, kind of a rebranding from the Canadian Houseware and Hardware Manufacturer Association, just to link it all together. And COPA is the Canadian Office Products Association. Again, for those who may not be members, but are interested in what Sam and I are going to cover today. So what I thought I'd start with is Home Depot released the results this week for your hardware members, and sales were not great. Sales are down, and we see this in all our Crunchbox data across North America, where we see unit sales are down, dollar sales are flat. They posted a 4.5% decrease in comp sales. I think we're probably going to see the same results if we looked across all the suppliers that you work with, or if you chatted with them, probably seeing the same. There's been price increases over the last year, so the 4.5 really isn't even a true reflection of what happened. What are you hearing from your memberships of what they've seen in the first year? Are they bullish on what's happening and their plans for the next 6 months? How do you feel that the membership is responding to the current economy?
Yeah, it's a great question, Doug. Well, obviously, in terms of one of the things that most manufacturers and brand owners are stating today, that the economy seems to be somewhat in unpredictable stage right now. Although most brand owners and most manufacturers are at a kind of a flat or stabilizing sales situation, that a couple of different things that you just touched on. Number one, units seem to be lower, but the sales numbers seem to be flat. And that really touches on the fact that most organizations over the last 2 or 3 years have had some major increases in terms of pricing. So when you take both of those into effect with the sales numbers staying flat, but units going down, that really goes back to the number for Home Depot that you just indicated that was reported, where they were down 4 to 5% year on year on sales. So that really is telling the story of everyday Canadians and are being forced to really take a look at their disposable income in terms of what they're spending. And I know from a few reports that I've read from Price Waterhouse and a few other reports that are out there in the marketplace, that seems to be somewhat of a trend where Canadians have not stopped spending dollars, but they're definitely monitoring their spending habits and how they're going to be spending their money moving forward. So somewhat a concern, but not. I'm not going to say it's a red flag at this point in time, but in terms of Canadians just tightening up a little bit, we're starting to see that, and that's a lot of our manufacturers are starting to see the retailers starting to hold off on buying, watching, and monitoring their inventory levels a little bit tighter, and definitely a concern moving forward in terms of what the next 6 months is going to provide for our members.
Yeah, good good points there. I think one thing in the Home Depot news that was interesting, and I think we saw this in a lot of the seasonal business in Canada, is, we had a fairly soft winter, and winter sales of those seasonal products were relatively slow out of the gate. We've seen the same thing this spring, where spring basically is still non-existent as we sit in like 7 Celsius today, when it should be about 17. And those purchases just get prolonged because they're so weather driven at times. And Home Depot in their announcement said, they were hammered by a lot of weather impact in Northern California. There's been a lot of tornado activity, and that not just closes stores, but it changes the way and the way that people are spending their money, why they spend their money, and when they spend their money, which I think is out of the supplier's hands. But also interesting to, as a supplier, to monitor weather as an impact beyond what's just happening at the retail stores.
Yeah, it's a valid point, Doug, in terms of the way dollars are being spent today is a lot different than they were 5 years ago. And consumers are more savvy today. They're going to be more conscientious of the way that they're spending their dollars, especially in seasonal products. And definitely the weather has a lot to do with that in terms of impact. And the spring session, as you refer to, is almost coming to an end, and we've really had no spring. We're going to just jump right into summer.
Yeah.
So those are all factors that consumers take into effect, and when spending dollars, it becomes more of a challenge for retailers and for brand owners to forecast and to budget out the year.
Yeah, and I think your point too about where they spend their money, right? So in Walmart's latest results, they thought their largest growth came from household income over $100,000, right? So whereas they may not have been Walmart shoppers in the past, maybe they spent their money at Canadian Tire, maybe they went to Depot or whatever, but everyone is now looking for a bargain as they either read or feel themselves that the economy is slowing, so they feel they should trade down perhaps, or look and give more consideration to where they're spending their money. I think that's a real valid point you brought up.
Yeah, you're correct there, Doug. In terms of the consumers today are going to be looking for a variety. They're looking for an experience that touches on great pricing, some technology factors that are in place. So there's a lot of factors that come into play for a consumer, and definitely in terms of trying to shop down a little bit and try to get more for their dollars. So I think retailers themselves have to be a lot more creative in terms of the way that they go to market. And their omni-channel solutions got to be crisp. It's got to be solid. And you mentioned one in Walmart. You walk into a Walmart, they have more self-checkout units now than they have cashiers. That's evident in every Walmart store that you walk into. You walk into a Home Depot, a Rona, Shoppers Drug Mart. It definitely seems that the major retailers have gone the approach of self-checkouts, where there's more self-checkouts than there are cashiers. So in terms of their models are changing. We definitely are always encouraging manufacturer and brand owners to do the same and to take a look at the way that they're going to market and take a look at ways that they need to cut costs, because obviously consumers are looking for ways to save money and get more value for their dollars. And shopping in different locations becomes important for them if they believe there's value there.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And then retailers just looking to take costs out of the system. I think all consumers are familiar now with self-checkout. You're not the leader if you're not doing it. You're a bit of a follower. So we saw some of the retailers come later with that. Let the grocery stores kind of lead the way, but I think it's inevitable that they need to take costs out of the system to stay as competitive as possible. And
yeah, absolutely.
Don't mind using self-checkout. So I think it works well. Hey, we're kind of halfway through, so I want to pivot to your COPA and Canadian Home Product Trade Association initiatives for the back half of the year. Love to hear what's going on the office product side of the world. What do you see of value to the membership? How does someone become a member of your organizations? Let's talk a little bit about that in the next 10 minutes, because I think, as we talk many times, I can't see why a supplier would not be a member of your associations, just like I can't see why they all don't use krunchbox. But at the same time, let's just chat about that and talk about some of your new initiatives and some of the best initiatives you have in place.
Yeah, no problem, Doug. And in terms of, as you mentioned, and what we do for both CHPTA and for COPA, so both of them, there's a lot of synergies there between the home products and also office products. And when you take a look at both, there's everybody today, like you are, like I am, we're working from home. So in terms of your home products and your office products, there's a lot of analogies and a lot of similarities there in terms of what the two bring to you as an individual and as an employee. The two different industries and categories have integrated extreme amounts since the pandemic started three and a half years ago. We've got certain initiatives. Our big initiative has really combined both home and office products. It's called HOPC. It's the Home and Office Products Campus, and that is our biggest initiative that we are getting off the ground. It's I'll call it a developmental tool or a training tool. You can visit it at hopcampus.ca. It's a training tool to learn on products and product knowledge and obtaining product knowledge for anything to do with hardware, home products, or office products. It's a great tool that we've launched, and it really talks about collaboration amongst all of the hardware, houseware, and office products organization working in conjunction together to have one location to store all of their products in order for all the retailers and all the retailer reps across Canada to go in for and find the products under one location. That's one of the biggest initiatives that we've got going. We've launched it on the office product side, looking forward to launching it on the hardware side and home product side. That I would say is our biggest project moving forward. Some of the key things that we bring to the table. I'm going to talk fast here, Doug. I don't want to wait my 5 minutes. I would say one of the key values that we bring is we've got some groups that are fantastic groups to be part of. We call them peer groups. So if you're a leader, if you're a company leader, if you're a sales and marketing executive, or if you're an HR person or a logistics person, what we do is we bring together a lot of collaboration of like-minded people to be able to have conversations in terms of what's working for them, what solutions they're utilizing in their environments. And we ask people to share ideas, and if everybody shares, everybody walks away with one piece of information that they're going to be able to hopefully integrate into their business. And that's the key thing. We have quarterly meetings, and we definitely, I personally believe that there are one of the most valuable assets that we do deliver to the communities is an opportunity for all individuals and certain groups to talk, to get together, and to have conversations. Those are a couple of the services that we do provide. Some of the services that we provide, obviously, are some great programs and great services in terms of courier, LTL, pricing solutions, and data solutions. Like krunchbox is one of our great partners that if you're part of CHPTA or COPA and you want to use krunchbox, we'll give you a discount working with krunchbox. Data is something else that we really strive to provide all of our members. Is what's the old saying that data, that knowledge is power, and without it, it's hard to really conduct your business and understand your business. And we definitely believe in that. And when you take all of that data, if you have the ability to unlock that data and be able to deliver some solutions and some information to your customers, to your consumers, there's incredible value for that. And you can, we definitely encourage our manufacturers to differentiate themselves, and data and understanding the data for their customers is a great differentiating factor that they can provide. It's pretty important for them to be able to go into a retailer and say, hey, here's the data, and look professional and be able to provide them with the knowledge that they need to be able to sell more products. And those are some of the key things that we provide. Another one that we would provide, and again, it's networking events. We often put on networking events right across Canada to encourage people to come out and talk, meet, and greet. One of the things that we found after the pandemic is that people once again want to go out and start spending some time face to face. Not all the time, but we're finding that I'll call it kind of the omni-channel approach to events where not everybody likes to golf, not everybody likes to go to galas. So we kind of try to come up with a mix that works and try to deliver online events and virtual events. And at the same time, we also try to provide in-person events. We've got our 2 golf tournaments, one in Quebec, one in Toronto, which are pretty exciting. We've got our Hall of Fame event. We've got our gala event. So we've got a lot of stuff happening, and it's a great opportunity to understand the industry, get to know people, share ideas, collaborate. I mean, those are all key things to understand what's going on. And if you're not coming out, and if you are in a bubble and you're sheltered, you're not learning, you're not understanding what's going on in the business and in the industry and all the changes that are happening. And we try to provide all of that and try to prepare all of our members with all the disruptors that are out there. And, if you're out talking to people, that's the key way to gain information.
Yeah, I get asked all the time when, typically when sales are down, not so much when sales are up, but when sales are down, I get asked all the time, am I seeing this across other suppliers, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the values that you provide, like you said, in the networking events and your peer groups is, they got to be able to get more insight into, is this just happening to them, or is it happening in every category across the retailer? What's that look like? And, how are others dealing with it? And what ideas are they taking their retail partners that'll help improve their position from a sales and or inventory standpoint, right? So I think those programs are awesome. And I've heard in the years that we've been working together as partners, some great feedback from your members on the value they get out of these peer groups and how much they enjoy those conversations, because it is the tidbits of information they can take back to their retailer or even just back to their ownership that makes them feel like they have a really good pulse of what's happening across the retail channel that they're responsible for.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, that's the key thing. And one of the other things that I didn't mention is advocacy. We do a lot of advocacy for our members that really talks to, in some ways, even to some of the larger retailers. Let's face the facts. If you're going to be talking to a major retailer and you're a small manufacturer, you're not going to have a lot of pull. You're not going to have a lot of power to go in and demand that things change. But collectively as a group, and if we've got 400 or 500 members that are all part of the CHPTA or COPA, collectively we've got more power to go in and form an argument of why that change should not be happening. The same thing with the government. We can definitely advocate for our members in government policies and procedures like we are now. There's a new blue box strategy coming to Ontario where we're going to be part of the change, and we are trying to make sure all of our members are educated with that change that's happening with the blue box. It's going to be reflective on the amount of money that our members are paying into blue box programs, where it'll probably double or triple within the next 12 months. So a lot of people don't know and understand that's coming. Some of our larger members don't have a clue. We're definitely trying to get out there and make sure that they're educated in what's happening with the new blue box and recycling program across Ontario and across Canada.
Yeah, that's great. I forgot about your advocacy programs as well, because at times those are usually point in time and become very, very time consuming and important part of the process, right? Whether you're lobbying government, lobbying a retailer, lobbying any other entity to help your membership out, that's one reason why they should become a member of your org. So a good pivot there. How does someone become a member of the of COPA or the CHPTA, what would, if someone's watching and they're not a member today, what's the next step for that?
First thing I would say is go onto our website, chpta.ca or copa.ca. So it's either chipta.ca or copa.ca. Gives you all the information you need there. It gives you my email address, my team's email address. They can reach us directly or just go in and kind of view some of our offerings. A lot of great partnerships there that we've got, from courier to, as I mentioned, to logistics, to HR, you name it. We've got some great partners that we partner with, and data, like a great partner like Crunchbox that has some great POS analytics available and dashboards. So, exciting times for all of our members. And, as you mentioned earlier, I just can't understand why home and office products industry and not part of our memberships, because there's some incredible value there.
Awesome. Well, Sam, that brings us to our close today. So I'm glad we were able to find a chance to chat and kick off our partnership of these podcasts and live streams together. It's going to be exciting. So again, thanks for your time. Everyone, reach out to Sam or Michael or anyone at the COPA or the CHPTA. Get some more membership information. It's a fantastic organization. There is an automatic ROI, I think, from when you join, whether it's the peer group conversations or taking advantage of their partnership programs, which typically give preferred pricing to membership. I think it's a great way to enhance your business and just become more informed about what's happening at your retailers across the country. So thanks again, Sam. We'll catch up soon and look forward to the next time we get together.
Thank you, Doug, for the opportunity. I really appreciated this, and I look forward to our next conversation. Thank you.
Awesome. Have a good day. Well, everyone, that wraps up our first episode of the Point of Sale Data Minute in conjunction with COPA and the CHPTA. The next sessions are going to be really to inform the members, and we'll advertise it on LinkedIn again, about what's happening across their retail partners. I have an Amazon expert plan. We're looking for someone to speak about what's happening at Walmart. We'll get into Canadian Tire. So please follow along, follow me on LinkedIn, and stay in touch so you never miss an episode. This will be available again on LinkedIn. We will create another live stream so that you'll have it. It'll be on the Point of Sale Data Minute podcast, available on your local podcast app or your favorite podcast app. And again, thanks for Crunchbox, my employer, for sponsoring today's session. We help retail suppliers find the nuggets of gold that are hidden in their retailer point of sale data so that you can make more informed decisions about what's happening across your retailers and become smarter about your business and what could happen next. Again, thanks for your time today. Look forward to seeing you online again soon.